When I was little, I remember one of my friends came to my place and he wanted to borrow a book that I was still reading. I told him I'm still reading it. He said, no problem, he'll borrow it today and I can read it later. He took away the book while I was still reading it and I couldn't say no to him. Somehow, for people who are shy or who are introverted, it can be an incredibly difficult task to say no clearly. And it is so important, isn't it? It's a part of our self-expression. We ought to be able to say no when we really don't want to say yes. If we are unable to say no, then stuff that is not what we want will steal our presence, our energy, our time, even our money, our well-being. Only when we are able to say no to things that are not important to us, we are able to focus on things that are important to us. In fact, when we are able to say no to things that don't matter, where we do not want to devote more of our energies, we are able to give an emphatic yes to what we are interested in. And relationships are enriched when there is space between them, when there is mutual respect to say what everybody wants to say. If you're not able to say no clearly in a setting, then you'll feel inhibited. In the long run, it'll frustrate you. You will feel that there is greater temper building up. And at some point or another, you will burst. And carrying these emotions, which are heavy, is anyway unhealthy. So it's best we are able to voice ourselves completely. And no is just one of those. It symbolizes speaking our mind. So what is it that steals our ability to say no? One thing that comes in our way is our own inability to take no, to hear no from other people. So give it a thought right now. If people were to say no to you, you made a request to someone and the person said no, is it an easy thing for you to accept? What does it evoke in you? What emotions, what feelings are present when you hear no? Is it easy for you to accept that? If it is not an easy thing for you to accept, it is unlikely that you'll be able to say no. Because in all probability, you have a judgment against speaking no. You feel it is hurtful. We do not just hear the simple word no. We hear a lot of hidden messages when somebody says no to us. Say you made a request to someone and someone said no. Notice that you don't just hear no. You hear some things which are hidden, latent, inherent in this sentence, which is no. People hear things like, no, I'll not do this for you. No, you are not welcome to ask me. No, I will not support you. No, I do not care for you. No, I do not like you. I do not love you. None of these second part of the sentences are actually spoken. But when we hear no, there is a part of us that adds some unsaid, unspoken message, which makes this no very significant, very heavy, very important to us, that we must avoid hearing this at all costs. So see if you can pause for a moment and just listen as if I am saying no to you right now. No. No. And just sense. Can you see the emotions that are rising in you? What are those negative feelings that are arising? Can you sense, take a pause and just feel what is the rest of the sentence that you hear? For me, as if it's a personal invalidation when someone says no, as if I'm not important to you. Is it so for you too? If you are not able to hear no, if you're not able to accept no, then you will avoid making a straight request to anybody. You will never request help. You'll keep avoiding you'll keep avoiding such situations in which the other person could say no, because you're not ready to hear no. And when you're not ready to hear no, you think no is hurtful, no is rude, no is outrageous, and therefore you will never put your relationships at stake by saying no to another person. You may be risking a relationship. You may become unlikable, unlovable if you said no to anyone. Or you may hurt another human being. You wouldn't like to do that. So that steals your ability to say no to another person. And therefore you go along with things that you do not want to go along with. Even when you do say no, if you are anybody like me, then you say it in a very roundabout fashion in which you feel you've said it, but the other person never gets it. And when they don't get your no, they hear a maybe, then they presume that you'll probably go along with them. And then that causes even greater disappointments, misunderstandings. So here is what we have to try to do if you want to gain self-expression, a greater freedom to say your mind. First, permit others to say no to you. Make bold requests. Play the game of making a lot of requests. It is going to be outside your comfort zone because you've avoided hearing no all your life. But try it out. That's the only way to break barriers. So make a lot of bold requests and see if you can gather no's. Let people say no to you and remind yourself when you hear no that it is a simple no. There's nothing else hidden in that message. It just is no. Give them a permission to say no. Sometimes you will sense a negative emotion rise in you. And when you're making a request, you might feel a certain fear and anxiety rising in you that there's a no that could happen. That's a personal rejection. Or when you hear a no, there is this invalidation, an emotional hurt that rises in you. And at that point of time, there is emotional healing to be done. We cannot be powerful by avoiding such situations. The only way we can be powerful is by healing the emotions that rise when we hear no. So when you feel that hurt rising in you, slow down. Be spacious with your emotions. Do not invalidate those feelings. Allow yourself to breathe calmly and to experience the emotions that rise in you. If you can be spacious with those emotions, if you can let those emotions be, then those emotions will have no power over you. Deal with yourself as if you are a little boy or a little girl who's dealing with these emotions. Comfort yourself, bring love to yourself, and then let the adult in you take the call of voicing yourself fully, boldly, despite those emotions. Don't avoid taking action that your heart is calling for. There are many ways in which you could work on your emotions, but the best way is to not escape from them, not run from them, not avoid them. The best is if you can let them be, experience them fully. So experiment. See if you can bring yourself to make bold requests which could get no for an answer. And then it's good if you got no for an answer. It's an opportunity for you to grow because you can gain comfort in receiving no. If you can be comfortable in receiving, then you'll be able to say no to without significance. And you don't have to do it rudely. You can have love in your heart when you say it. Do it in a fashion in which it is polite and kind, but be straight and direct. Even repetitive you need to be. Because some bold people cannot hear your no the first time you say it. So you might need to repeat it a few times. There are ways in which you could say it in a fashion in which it's easier for them to take it. For example, it could be, let me think about it, and come back having thought about it, it's not your thing. Or you could, I'll write an article and share with this video, wherein I could give some more examples. You could buy time. Give me some time. Permit yourself the freedom to rethink your decisions. It's all right to change your mind. It's okay to change your mind. When you are able to say no, you would find that your respect among people, among peers rises. Because now your opinion matters. You are somebody who can take control of your own life. So allow yourself to experiment outside your comfort zone. Because this capacity will not rise unless you start playing the game outside your comfort zone. You'll have to make demands which are beyond your comfort, make requests, ask for help, and then permit people to say no to you. Now notice that there's nothing except a simple no. No doesn't have significance. No doesn't have any meaning beyond just the word no. It doesn't even mean never. It just means no, nothing else. And now begin to say it to other people, and say it with kindness, say it with love. You don't have to apologize when saying it. There's no apology necessary. If you say no, sorry, then you are permitting yourself to feel guilty, as if no was a hurtful thing to do. If it is hurting another human being, then there is a necessary need for the other person to heal within themselves, because they are hearing something that you never said. But you didn't say anything to hurt them. Have love in your heart, have kindness in your heart, but give it straight. You'll have to be straight and powerful. Say no. Listen to your own heart. Listen to your emotions. Listen to your feelings. Honor them.